video may not be suitable for all viewers. This content is aimed towards adults, and adults who are not easily triggered over harmless fiction and knows how to separate harmless fiction from reality. We are not responsible for you getting triggered. You have been warned. Ooh.
Hey, what's up everyone? It is I, the Video Game Hunter, and welcome to another Game Hunting Stories. And today, I'm actually going to tell you guys a story about what happened to me when I went to Japan. And not sus, ooh, I'm in Japan. No, I went to a place that everyone pretty much wants to go to, especially if you're into anime or in retro gaming. And that is the fantastic place called Akihabara in Tokyo. And what made this day a bit interesting is that I finally found a game that I've been looking for and I wanted to get for quite a while, but I forgot something very important. A very important document that you must have on you at all times when you visit another country. And this is my story. So this story all started out in the early mornings of Tokyo, Japan. And I don't know the full situation, what was going on, but my buddy Matt, who I obviously went to Japan with, he was in a voice call talking to one of his brothers, and what ended up happening was they get into some kind of argument. And usually that's not a big deal. We get into arguments all the time, and most of us just let it go and move on with our day. But with my buddy Matt, his situation is a bit different from most of us. And I'm not saying that he has some kind of anger issues or anything like that. It's just, he has an illness that if he gets mad, upset, frustrated, if he eats something he's not supposed to, or if he works too hard, he really starts feeling unwell. When I mean unwell, he can be as sick as a dog and it can ruin his day. And this was one of them. Because he was so not doing so good, he ends up telling me saying,
"Hey, I'm gonna stay in the hotel for most of the day. You go out and have fun. Go to Akihabara. Go buy those weebs, or those dirty anime stuff, or video games. Just buy the stuff that you wanted to get a couple of days ago. Don't worry about me. I'll be okay."
So I basically was like, okay, it's as long as you get better, I'll go ahead and go. So basically, I grabbed the stuff that I know I would needed, my wallet, passport, and keys, and I'll just go ahead and go. And that's what I did. I grabbed my stuff and I bolted out. But apparently, I was missing something very important. But at the time, I was unaware, but the fact is, I'm going to Akihabara. So, I am letting you guys know right now, I am not going to be sitting here telling you guys about all the stuff that I bought at Akihabara and telling you guys about all the places I went to. Because if I did, this would be a good an hour or so long video, and I just really don't have the time or think it'll be entertaining enough for everyone to watch the whole thing. So what I am going to be doing is that I am going to be talking about two specific places, and I am going to be talking about one specific item for each of these places. And the first place I went to is actually the game store I went to a day before with my buddy Matt, called Super Potato. And the reason why I'm going back is because of two things. One, there was a game there that I really wanted to get, but I decided not to pick it up because of how expensive it was. And I just want to save my money a bit more, just in case I see another item in another place that I kind of wanted more. And two, another reason why I wanted to go there is because I wanted to refilm the place. You see, when we first went with my buddy Matt, I got permission from the employees to film the store. And Matt, well, let's put it this way. He is not big as a retro gamer as I am, and he doesn't really care about this whole YouTube thing. So, when I was filming the place first time I went, well, he was kind of rushing me. So, now I'm back here in Super Potato, I can just refilm the place, of course with the employee's permission, which I did in fact get. So that being said, here's a quick clip of Super Potato in Akihabara. So as you can see, Super Potato is a very small store with tons of retro goodness. And if you ever get the chance to visit here, you are definitely going to be spending about a good hour or so here, making sure you're not passing up of any games that you've always wanted to get, or passing up of any retro consoles that you could never get, but now you can. Which brings up the game that I wanted to get the day before, but couldn't, but now I can. And that is Miss Peach Ward on the Famicom. Now, I wish I can tell you guys how I originally discovered Miss Peach Ward, and to be completely honest, I really don't know. I really don't. The only thing I can really think of is that one day I decided to research Menace Beach and just finding out that, hey, there's a more adult version of this game on the Famicom. That's really the only explanation I can really think of. But to give you a quick description of this game, well, it's Menace Beach, except you play as a girl who strangely looks like Marilyn Monroe, and you have to fight all these random enemies. And I really do mean random enemies. I mean, come on, how the hell is this karate guy somehow connected to this Bonnie looking creature? Who knows? So the second store that I am going to be talking about is the place that I believe was called like Sugaya. I'm hoping I am pronouncing that name correctly. But in this store they sell like second-hand goods. Mostly like entertainment stuff like anime, video games, and figurines. And the first floor, it's more aimed towards to more kid-friendly or teenager stuff. While the second floor, it's aimed towards more to the adult audience. And we are going to be talking about the adult audience section. And boy, did I find a video game that I've been looking for the longest time. And it's also one of the most controversial games that I ever heard of, despite the fact it was never going to be in the US. But yet, news stations like CNN decided to report on it. And that game is called Rape Play.
私に何か夜中でねやめなさい
So, Rape Play. Yeah, if you never heard of this game before, and you feel slightly uncomfortable because you think the game is about rape by judging the name of the game, well, you are 100% correct, and you have every right to feel uncomfortable. Because this game is, in fact, absolutely about rape. And I'm going to tell you guys this now. I'm not too bothered about it, because to me, it's a video game. In my humble opinion, all video games have the right to exist, especially if it's not harming anyone. But I will tell you this. I find this game far more offensive than the fact that this game absolutely sucks. No joke, I'm telling you right now, this game sucks. I don't think it's fun at all, and I simply say avoid it. But to give you a quick description what this game's about, you play as a guy who got caught molesting some women on the train, and the lady who caught you doing it, you end up getting back at her by going after her family, then eventually her. Then eventually you get to the gameplay where you basically stalk the ladies around the train tracks, basically molest them a bit, then eventually you get to the naughty scene. And again, there's not much to see here except some really bad graphical rape scene and whatevs. There's really not much to see, but if this makes any difference, there's no happy ending in this game. Eventually, you do get to the ending. There are two different endings, and they're both bad. Nothing good happens to the main character. Actually, that could be considered a good ending now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that could be considered a good ending. So once I finished shopping around in the store, I decided, hey, it's time to go. So I gathered up all the games that I wanted and went straight to the checkout counter. And the old man behind the counter did exactly what he's supposed to do. He scanned each of my games, and then once he finished, he asked me for something that no other salesperson has asked me throughout this day. And that is, he asked me for my passport. And I was like, sure, no problem. I started searching my pockets. Then I started searching my bag. Then I'm starting to panic and started searching my shopping bag. And then it hit me, I do not have my passport. And I'm really kind of a bit freaking out because I'm panicking like, hey, what was my passport? What did I do with it? Where did I drop it? And whatnot. And at the final ditch of effort, and really at last bit of hope, I contacted my friend who I left at the hotel because, he wasn't feeling well. I asked him, hey, is my passport over there? And luckily, he contacted me seconds later. I was like, yeah, you dumbass, you left it here. And I was like, oh, thank God. And yes, I do believe that was his exact words when he contacted me back. So now I'm a lot more calm knowing where my passport is. I was trying to convince the old salesman to, go ahead and sell me the items despite the fact I don't have my passport on me. But I do believe the store had like some kind of policy basically saying, hey, if the foreigner does not have his passport, you should not sell it to them. I'm just guessing. I'm not 100% sure if that's their actual policy, but pretty much the guy couldn't sell me the games. So it would take too much time for me to go back to the hotel and come right back, because you know I have to take a subway train to get back to the hotel. So we end up making a deal. Look, put my games inside a small basket and put it on the counter in the back saying, hey, this person right here is going to pick it up tomorrow. And that's what he did, and I'm very thankful for that. And I'm really glad he spoke really good English, because if he didn't, I probably would have walked out of there with nothing. Even coming back the next day, there wouldn't be a guarantee that all the games I wanted would still be there. So I'm very thankful to that old man for catching me a break. So that being said, once I left that store, my buddy Matt contacted me again. It's like, hey, it's getting kind of late. You should come back to the hotel. And I was like, sure. When we stop by one more store, and I'd be on my way. And yeah, and that's basically my story of this video. And if you're curious what happened next, yeah, I was able to pick up my item the next day, and my buddy Matt felt so much better that we actually went sightseeing. And I finally got to go to a place that I've been wanting to go since I bought this game called Magic Knight Ray Earth on the Saturn. Tokyo Tower. So that being said, thank you so much everyone for watching. I know this video went way longer than expected, but I thank every one of you who decided to watch the whole thing. So that's it for today. This is the Video Game Hunter, and until next time, goodbye.
I like to